The next site, War Eagle Mine, site number EC0625. What we're looking at here is the adit 1 for the War Eagle Mine. It's EC0625. It's located to the west of Fitz Creek, which is one of the major tributaries to Crooked Creek, which flows down from the Dixie area. We're looking northwest, or almost straight west, really, at the caved portal. You can see the cave scarp up above there, the lighter material behind the brush. There's really not much to see even up close there. It is all fallen in. There's a small trench coming out away from the scarp there, which is evidence of the adit. There's a mine car here in the foreground. There's a small seep coming out, a gallon or so a minute. It really surfaces just about where I am on the edge of the dump. I took a water sample there to characterize the seepage out of the adit. The seep does not really cross much of the dump. It may go just right along the very edge of it, the kind of the eastern edge of the dump, but really doesn't go through it. And it just turns into a seep down below on down towards Fitz Creek to the east. Which will there's a bunch of machinery along Fitz Creek, which is just below the dump of the War Eagle adit 1. We'll turn around and get a look at what the dump looks like now for adit 1. Here we're looking back to the east at the dump for the War Eagle adit 1. You can see there's quite a bit of scrap metal laying out on the dump, mine rails and various and sundry other pieces of machinery. Some drill steel float out there in the distance there. You may not be able to really see all of it. We're looking down again towards the east there. That's Fitz Creek in the distance there, kind of smoky, smoke coming up Crooked Creek from the salmon. You can see, you may be able to see the ridge in the background there where it's Fitz Creek hits Crooked Creek. There's supposedly a mill down there at that location. It wasn't found. It's been burned in the fairly recent past, and you really can't see any evidence of the mill. It's just been noted in old reports. You can see the dump goes out. It's flat. It's about 25 feet from the portal, or the supposed portal where it's been caved, and about 30 feet wide. It's pretty much just along the hillside. Not a huge dump. You can see a little bit of it from below, from the Fitz Creek Trail, looking up towards where I am, but it's really not much of a dump. There's supposed to be about, it's been reported upwards of 9 adits on this property, and we'll make an effort to find some of them. They just this is probably the northernmost, and they just work their way to the south from here, off in this distance off out into the brush there. There's supposed to be a trail that kind of goes between them. We'll take a look at that and see what we can find on the rest of them. So this will be it for adit 1 for the War Eagle Mine, EC0625. What we're looking at here is the upper portion of adit 2 for the War Eagle Mine, EC0625. The slope is very steep, and I believe that this is just the collapse scarp of the adit. The portal was probably substantially below this point on the slope to the east. I'm not sure. I was down there. I couldn't find anything that really told me that where the portal exactly was. Like I said, the slope is so steep that it just has collapsed all the way down and washed out. Looking down the slope, there's not really a lot to see. It's so brushed in. It's extremely steep, and there's not really anything to see on down below. So again, we're looking at the the scarp. We're about 500 feet south of Adit 1, the one we looked at first there, and supposedly there's upwards of 9 reported by the USGS adits at this site, or in this area. I have yet to find any of the others. I made a concerted search to the south and never located any. Again, the brush is very thick, the hillside's very steep, and unless you walk right on top of it, you may miss it totally, which I probably did. So this is it for Adit 2 for the War Eagle mine. There's no running water here or any evidence of water at this site. So no samples were taken, and the dump basically has completely slid down the hill, down towards Fitz Creek, but never reached it. So this will be it for Adit 2 of the War Eagle mine, EC0625. What we're looking at here is some machinery that is straight down the slope to the east from Adit 1 for the War Eagle mine. It's just above the Fitz Creek trail, just before it switches back up and heads towards Adit 1. Again, this is directly below down the slope from Adit 1. I just thought I'd throw this in for completeness. This is the trail going up Fitz Creek. We can hear the creek in the background there. It's very brushy in here. You can't hardly see where the creek is, but the trail's kind of boggy in this location. And see probably a ball mill and broke open and it came down the slope, and various other bits and pieces of machinery. Again, as noted earlier, the USGS notes 9 adits on this site. All but one was caved, one was cribbed open, timbered open back a ways, but none of those were found. I found two of the 9, so there's 7 of them that I was not able to locate along the slope. They may or may not be significant, I don't know. I couldn't find them and made a concerted effort in the brush on the very steep hillside to find them. So this will be basically it for the War Eagle mine. There's a little bit more tin and scrap metal and such down close to where Fitz Creek runs into Crooked Creek, and I'll get some video of that. So this will be it for Adit 1. Here we're looking southeast across the Fitz Creek Trail. We're just about where Fitz Creek enters Crooked Creek. It's downstream from Dixie. This is presumably a cabin or some sort of building structure, whatever. And this area down here in this flat where Fitz Creek enters Crooked Creek is where I presume there was a mill, a flotation mill of some sort. And this is just some scrap metal alongside the trail. The mill structure, I failed to find any evidence of it out in the brush. It's been burned in here, as you can see from all these snags and such. And the brush is very, very thick. There is a bit more piles of tin out in the brush between the trail where I am and Crooked Creek, which is off over where those rock bluffs are in the distance there. So again, no evidence of where that mill was located. It may have been along Fitz Creek someplace, just down below the War Eagle mine. It may have been right on this flat out here. I don't know. It would make sense on this flat. There's enough room to build a fairly large complex, but again, it was never located with a concerted effort going out through the brush trying to locate something. The USGS map shows a structure on the map itself below the trail, just about where I'm at, and this may be it. Again, the mill was never found. But I will take a water sample on Fitz Creek, just above the trail. It basically is down below where all the mining activity would have been for the War Eagle. That's on up to the northwest from this point. So I'll take a water sample, and then that will be it for this mine.